$1 for me and then 50 cents if you're a senior.
Dun, 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 dun.
Or you could get like
Or-
Says I missed a call.
card.
Are you starting, Mr. Jim?
Then you can jump on.
No,
for
you want
2
to
hours.
continue on with your let's just roll into the fall season?
Zaps, New Orleans style.
It's completely up to you, whatever you want to do.
Oh, you want to do it?
Yes.
I'm
I
just-
did. I went on. I had
Okay.
the arms
It's
set
better
up,
if you get
I
a
went on
volunteer.
right in the
They
middle,
self-inflict.
and, I went on before and
Okay.
it said you need to
Go
set that
ahead.
down, so I did that.
Okay,
For fall season.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so we got it for.
go ahead and say who you are and what you're doing.
Okay. Okay,
Ga-
meeting
Ga-
starting.
Gail's
second.
not listening.
It's I'm Jim. This my thing that my
Hi.
Come on
my
in.
instance of the week was
Yeah.
the Asus.
You'll sit next to the
Oh.
Grand Poobah.
All
You
right.
get a seat of privilege and honor right here.
Yeah.
The my thing finding of this week was I kept having trouble with my cameras. I've been having trouble with the cameras, and I slowed some of them down. Took the second port, which is a slow port, 640 by 480, and it straightened up a lot. But I still had some spectrum things pop up, rainbow pictures. And so this week I realized I had my old router on, my old TP-Link router, and I took it out of service and put my Asus router in service, and things are wonderful. I did have a couple of quirks, of course. When I change it over, you always have trouble with some cameras that won't recognize the new server. I had to reboot them, and one of them rejected the hub that it was on. It wouldn't go through the hub. I had to switch it over to Wi-Fi and rebooted it. It worked fine. And DHCP, I wonder how DHCP works, because I had to set my range again because I've got some fixed addresses, and I'm wondering if some of that might have caused some issues like that. But sometimes you have to reboot one or two of the cameras, but everything came back, and the Asus, I was able to get the latest version downloaded. Asus does a very good job at that. Downloaded it, so I'm looking much better on that. And then when we go freeform, I'll show my vacuum sweeper. New member?
Yeah.
And what's your name?
My name's Tom.
Tom?
Tom,
Okay.
Tom
What's your
Rose.
interest, Tom?
Well, I'm interested in artificial intelligence, autonomous. I'm interested in vacuum cleaners, actually.
Oh,
To see
okay.
how advanced, to see where we're at.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if 5G is going to improve it, the technology.
Well, 5Gs and vacuum sweepers, probably not.
Two different things.
Probably not significant. If 5G may not affect it. What's 5G going to affect?
My
Automatic
phone in
cars.
5 years.
Yeah, the auto-driving cars, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go. Autonomous.
It's still,
I'm thinking it may help,
Okay.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
what
don't know
they're-
how advanced we are though, because I don't have one.
We were talking about the latest one we saw on TV last week, and the latest generally released thing is the ones that they've come into my price range. They've just slowly started coming into the price range with the ones that follow a trail that don't repeat, because the old ones, the ones that we've been using for years, are random style. They just randomly
talking
go
vacuum.
with different pattern vacuum sweepers, robotic vacuum sweepers. They've been randomized. And then Leroy had, the vice president, has had some lawn mowers that did the same sort of thing. They were random and did different patterns. Some of them would follow the wall to the right.
I
They'd
think
go
it's
all the way around, and then they'd go left until they hit something, and then they would zigzag 45 degrees. But now they started. Some of them are starting to use the car driving technology, the laser technology.
And I saw them at Lowe's, okay, outside, their entrance to the store, and then two Lowe's stores I go to, and they had them there.
Really?
So
Sweeping?
Sweeping grass, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Cutting
wow.
the grass.
Cutting
Cutting
grass.
the lawnmowers, okay.
Yeah.
I think it could be huge. I think if
Oh,
they perfect it,
Well,
and
sure.
it's reasonable.
But I don't know how reasonable it was, but I'm saying to myself, man, I could buy one of those, don't have to cut the grass no more. I like that
I
thought.
know. I would like that too.
Yours had fences, didn't they, Leroy?
It was it was like a dog fence,
Buried wire.
buried wire. I found mine on Craigslist for $50, but you're not going to find one for $50 ever
Really?
again.
Did it work good for $50?
Oh, it worked great. One of the it had 2 batteries. One of the batteries was weak, but still, it took a charge and
You still
everything
use
worked.
it?
No, I don't have it anymore.
Oh, okay.
I had to give it to my business partner. When we moved and didn't have a yard anymore, he had need for it, so I'll never see it again. It's gone.
Was it pretty smart? Did it repeat anything? It
it-
probably did some.
It was the dumbest robot ever.
Okay.
You would say it actually, just like most of the vacuum cleaners, they're maintenance robots. So you cut your lawn first, and then you would send it out every day or every other day for a couple of hours, and it just would
Bounce around.
bounce around. Once it hit the line, the fence, it would just go off in another direction. It did have some random patterns, so it would do circles. It would do wide circles out, and then it would circle back in to the center, and it did triangles, but it really was just more or less random, and it was more or less once the yard was down where you wanted it to be, it would keep it at that level, and that's more or less what the at least the older vacuum cleaners did too. Was they just kind of bounced around. Some of them had patterns that they would do, and most of them just bounced around until they covered most of the area or until the battery died.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to a guy today that bought 5 goats, and his goats now cuts his grass.
Yeah,
And they're not random about it.
No.
they just eat
He's
food.
got a pattern. He's got this plot of land, okay, and he's divided it up in 4 quadrants,
Mhm.
okay. So the goats go to one quadrant, and they go to another quadrant,
Yeah.
another quadrant, and another quadrant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
So he lets them in one quadrant.
at a time.
Okay, anyhow, meanwhile, back at the robot world,
Maybe they have robot goats.
Robot.
They were using the laser mapping technology, kind of like the cars do. That's more expensive than mechanical because it's got a motor in it, right? To
Yeah.
turn the laser around, and it reads the laser and detects
At
the
least
distances.
the current
and
models
maps the
lasers
room. So that's going to be a mechanical device that's going to cost money. The one we saw last week, the new introduction, is one that empties itself and it maps the room, but it has a camera on the top. It's mapping the ceiling, and that's how it maps the room. And there are several of those. Shark has one, the Shark IQ, and
What if you could? Okay, go ahead.
well, we're just talking about reality, where we are today.
Yeah. Sure.
You can do all kinds of things, but the thing is the price. You can do anything. We can put radar on them, and
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
but it might be a little expensive.
Question
Yeah.
on the current ones.
Yeah.
Do they connect to your Wi-Fi? Do they communicate outside?
They do connect to your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay.
They could.
Yeah, 'cause
You
you
could-
can schedule
could
where
use
your
an app
in-laws are coming over.
from
Yeah,
wherever.
Oh,
the
okay.
new ones use a Wi-Fi apps.
Okay.
It's very nice and very smart. That way they can be very smart. And there is a video on it. Did look for Shark IQ on YouTube, and you'll find it. And they demonstrate the 3 top ones. iRobot's got one that's like $900. The Shark's got one that's like supposedly half that, and there's a third one. iRobot has the A7, I think it is, which is a cheaper version. But the latest thing is the self-emptying ones. They go to a station and they unload their stuff, into a station. And also there's supposed to be pet hair resistant. The pet hair doesn't mess with that. And that's a big deal for me because we have pets. So they use the map the ceiling technology.
Shark has come out with a brand new robot vacuum, which
IQ.
Yeah, that's the Shark IQ.
And the 30-minute video next to it, problems.
Yeah, I didn't click on the 30-minute video. You noticed
I
that,
think
right?
could significantly change the robot vacuum market for the better, not just because of its seriously good specs and features, which we'll take a look at later, but because the robot with those specs and features is being offered at a fraction of the cost of its competitors. We put the new Shark IQ robot self-empty through all of our usual tests, and this video will show all the results and be our review, so links in the description for current prices, and let's get started. I should mention that I did do some consulting work for Shark on this particular robot vacuum, and I even appeared in their infomercial for which I was paid. But, as always, I like to think that the way we review vacuums here at Vacuum Wars is pretty straightforward, and it leaves very little room for favoritism on my part. So before we get to the tests, let's talk about the basic stuff with the Shark IQ. This is Shark's first camera-based smart navigation robot vacuum. All of their previous generations have been random navigation robots, meaning that they more or less randomly bounced around to clean your home. But the Shark IQ robot gets its name because it's smart and can intelligently map out and navigate houses in more or less straight lines while working around obstacles. My favorite new feature, though, is only available on the auto-empty version of the Shark IQ robot, which is, of course, the auto-empty bin. Shark is now one of the very few robot vacuum companies to offer a feature like this, where when the robot automatically docks, a strong motor in the base kicks in, and it sucks out the contents of the robot's dustbin. The reason I like this feature so much is that with other robot vacuums, you might have to empty a robot's
That's the
dustbin
one
once a
sitting
day,
right here,
sometimes
that
several
one on the
times a
right.
day, depending on if you have a lot of pets. My point is that you have to pay a lot of attention to it. But with the auto-empty bin, you can basically schedule the robot to clean every day, and if all goes according to plan, you won't even have to think about it until that big bagless bin on the base fills up, which can hold up to 30 days worth of debris. So it honestly feels like you have a real futuristic robot helper doing its own thing, cleaning your house for you instead of just another appliance, and I think it's the future of robot vacuums because that's a cool feeling and you don't get it with normal robot vacuums. And because Shark is offering this bagless auto-empty system at almost half the price of the Roomba i7 Plus and more than half the price of the Roomba S9 Plus, it's probably going to shake things up a bit in the vacuum world. So I started off by measuring the airflow with an anemometer and got an extremely high number, higher than just about every robot vacuum on the market at any price. Its suction power was off the charts as well. This power showed up in several ways, like a really good showing on the crevice pickup test, or like with its ability to pick up debris from hard floors and carpets, where it not only picked up everything from fine debris to large debris very cleanly, but that extra airflow meant that it could easily pick up heavy debris like sand on the first pass, which is pretty rare. I also like that it has two side brushes, which, unlike so many robot vacuums, are nice and slow, so they don't scatter debris, but are still very effective. The Shark IQ robot has 3 power settings, and we found that it was as effective on its low power setting too, for quieter operation or to save battery life. We also tested its ability to deep clean carpets by embedding 100 grams of sand into medium pile carpet, running the vacuum for 5 minutes, and weighing the bin to see how much it picked up, and it got 83% twice in a row, which is in the top 4 all-time best scores I've seen on this particular test, and it easily is the best score I've ever seen for a single brush robot vacuum. The Shark IQ robot also has a self-cleaning brush roll, which Shark has invented recently and has been putting on a lot of their vacuums. We tested this by weighing out 1 gram of 5-inch human hair, running the vacuum, and weighing the hair that got caught on the roller. However, in this case, there was nothing to weigh. It had successfully cleared all the hair from the brush after the test, and it means that the Shark IQ robot is in rare company, as very few robot vacuums can do that.
That's
Let's move on to the
actually pretty
navigation
impressive.
tests. So, like I said, the Shark
That's
IQ
my
robot
biggest
is a
problem,
smart
right there,
navigation
hair.
robot vacuum, and it showed itself to be pretty smart in terms of coverage. It basically makes a kind of rough draft pass first, where it's not as concerned with the details, but because it's smart, it knows exactly where it missed, so after that first pass, it goes to those places and fills in the rest. I also found that it was really good around chair legs. It had a higher than normal threshold climbing ability, and it had a low profile for clearing couches and similar furniture. I have heard zones type of feature, which will be added in a future software update. No-go zones are a feature where you can create virtual barriers in the app for places that you don't want the robot to go. I have no idea what the timeline on that update is, but when it comes out, it will increase the value of the
call it
IQ robot
vaporware.
that much more. I measured its noise level on low power, and it was really quiet at 62 decibels. On its max power, it was about average at 70. As far as negative stuff, the main thing is its battery life. Shark says that you can expect about an hour of runtime with the Shark IQ robot, which is below average, but because of its over-the-top power, I would have expected a little shorter runtimes. And as I've said many times, it really doesn't matter what the battery life numbers are with smart robot vacuums that have cameras and the ability to map, because when their battery runs low, they return to the dock automatically, then recharge and resume exactly where they left off. So battery life is much less of an issue than it used to be. In general, I found the Shark IQ Robot Auto Empty to be one of the best overall robot vacuum experiences I've had, and not just because of the freedom that Auto Empty bin system offers, but because it's a very powerful, very smart robot which puts vacuuming and carpet cleaning first. So in terms of value, there isn't anything better right now, especially with that Auto Empty bin, but I do plan on doing some in-depth tests and comparisons with its competitors soon, so be sure to subscribe to
How much is that thing?
I think it's like 500, at least 500. Find the prices, Leroy. I am skeptical, and if he's saying he saw bad vibes from it, I would believe it. 550, okay.
550 self-empty, 550.
Yeah, we want the self-emptying.
Looks like you don't do it. It's a little cheaper.
Yeah, 400 for it without the.
Oh yeah, without the emptying bin. The thing is that it has a nice high vacuum. I think the vacuum on these things drop off. My iRobots, they don't vacuum worth a crap.
Well, I mean, it's a plastic impeller,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get eroded. It doesn't take much before it doesn't impel.
And that stinks, paying $550 for something that's going to go bad in a year. I don't like that.
It does. It does.
How much is a new one?
Vacuums are actually, when you think about a real vacuum, they're pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you plug them in and it's like.
Well, this is not like a plug-in vacuum sweeper. It doesn't have half the power of a plug-in vacuum sweeper. And you notice when these guys go past a place, they leave stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
yeah,
rely on
sure.
multiple passes.
Sure.
They have to.
Yeah, it's not going to be 100%.
Yeah.
Even your vacuum at home is not 100.
I've got a good Dyson knockoff. The Dyson was like $800, and this thing was $95 at Odd Lots. But it is an amazing vacuum. I mean, it pulls bits of the underlayment up from through the carpet.
Wow.
I mean, I look in the bin and it's like, that's the padding. Holy!
Wow.
I gave one to my mom. I went over with this thing. She's like, I don't need a vacuum. I've got a vacuum. When did you last vacuum? And she had done her living room that morning, and I vacuumed her living room and filled the bin. Like, this is a better vacuum.
What kind was it again?
I don't even know.
Oh.
It's a name brand, but it's a knockoff of a Dyson.
Okay.
It's one of the swirly ones.
Yeah.
Oh, not a robot, just a regular
I
vacuum.
know.
Yeah, I gotta.
I thought Dyson was making a robotic one.
And here's why. My mom had been using a Hoover from about 1950 with a big aluminum casting. The thing weighed literally 35 pounds. And, I mean, it was a beautiful thing, but it needed motor bearings really badly.
My mom
after-
likes her Dyson.
After 70 years, they kind of wear out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of neat. On hers, the logo on the front, there was a lever at the bottom of it, and when you turned that, the logo popped off, and it had just disconnected the belt from the motor.
Yep.
That was how you replaced the belt, and you needed to replace the belt. That thing was like 3.5 horsepower.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, here is this was one that was relatively new. This is probably 2 or 3 year old technology, but this is the main thing you see about this one is there is no brush in the bottom, so it's reasonable for non rugs.
Mm-hmm.
It
Hard
does
surface.
okay. It's a higher vacuum suction power than some of the others, but it has
So
no
on your
beater
hardwood
bar.
floors and stuff.
Yep, better for hardwood floor. The main thing the main thing you'd buy this one for is you got pet hair. Pet hair. There's no obstruction. It just sucks the air in there. There's no beater bar to get hung up in, and it does great with hair, but it's not that great all around. But if you got hair, and it's a little bit different strategy. It has a pull-out cartridge and a screen, and you pull out the screen, and it's got the HEPA filter on one side. So it has a pre-screen, it gets all the junk on the screen, and it pulls the screened air into the HEPA filter. You're supposed to replace the HEPA filter about every 3 months. It does okay. I use this one upstairs, and I swap out the beater bar with it because it has different cleaning characteristics than this one. And when I first got this, I mean, this bin would be absolutely full every time. And I noticed recently it's starting to taper off. I don't know if I've got the room clean or if the vacuum thing is not as effective. But this one was noted because of the high vacuum power. Supposedly it's a higher vacuum power. So you
Now,
got
how much does that save?
these are, I think the regular price is like $200. I paid $100 and something
So you can.
with this one. But you can get all kinds of things with these things, but the price is the main thing. This one's random. The random guys will clean the entire area that it can get to. Everything in the area will be cleaned
Eventually.
In its due time.
in due time. And these things will run for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, that's what I mean. Their maintenance. If it's already clean, it just maintains that it's clean.
Yeah.
This one has a scheduler. You can schedule it. Once you schedule it, it's that time every day. It'll come off the charger and go, and when it's done, it'll find the charging station, and about 60% of the time you'll find it back on the charging station. I'm always surprised, but this will get better, and you learn to adjust your room. Like there's a weight under the foot of one of our beds. There's something about that particular foot that it would get hung on, so I just put a little weight in the way and done. And if you have something that's exactly this width, it will get jammed in. So
Every
you just
time.
move it a 1/4 inch that way, and you're good.
The Roombas I've got
Mm-hmm.
always get hung up on cords. They just
Oh yeah,
They
you
have cords.
can't have cords. And if your house is properly organized, you shouldn't have any cords. But we have cords. I moved in the family room. I moved the chair in the way of the cords. I just moved the chair by over a foot, and the cords are blocked, and away we go. Up under my desk where I have the UPS and all that crap, all the cords are packed up out of the way. Just go in and organize them, and you're good to go.
One of my problems with them, and the big reason I don't have one, is my shop is on the ground floor. It's part of the house. It was supposed to be a sunroom. I have a wood lathe in there. I have a metal lathe. I cut lots of things. I can't imagine something with a bin that size going in there. I mean, it'd make it 3 feet in, and oh god, I gotta
It's
go.
locked up.
It's time to leave.
Yeah. I put actually one of our iRobots in the barn. It's got
Mhm.
a concrete floor, but there's all kinds of crap in there. And
Yeah.
cut it loose, and I was surprised it survived.
Really?
It survived.
Hmm.
Fills the bin awfully quick.
Yeah, yeah. This bin is not as big as some in this particular
Yeah,
unit.
that's tiny to me.
Yeah.
Um,
The other ones, the iRobot bins, are not much bigger than that, though. They're probably
They're a little-
50%.
they're a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, they're definitely bigger.
you were talking about your mower being relatively random. Craftsman introduced robot mowers in the late 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't changed much in a long time,
Right.
which is sad.
My was generation and a half. I mean, it was like first generation
Mm-hmm.
from I forget what company it was, but it was their first. It was pretty much their first run.
Yeah.
Was and they did a really good job. I mean, it really worked. But it had 3 blades on it, little
Mm-hmm.
6-inch
And
blades.
razors at that, probably.
No, they were actually real blades.
Oh, okay.
You could take them out and you'd have to sharpen them up every now and then.
Probably edger blades then.
Yeah, the little they had 5 points on it, five stars. It was
Oh.
like a little star blade, but they were
Cool.
little tiny things. They weren't very big, and they were sheet metal. I mean, it wasn't like
Yeah.
anything special, but when the battery got low, it would find the fence, and the fence would lead it back to the charger,
Mm-hmm.
so it would self-charge, and you just let it go, and it's just like that guy was saying on the video, where charging battery life didn't mean much to it because it would just go back.
It could find where it had been?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
no, it was
oh.
still random, but it would just go back out, and it had a setting on it where you could set it to do 3 hours worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
So it kept track. If its battery got low, it kept track of how long it was on the charger, and it would keep track. Okay, I need to go back out and do another 20 minutes worth of
That's kind of cool.
mowing or whatever. So it wasn't intelligent by knowing where it had been. It was intelligent by knowing that it hadn't completed a 3-hour cycle.
Yeah. Neat.
And it would run 24 hours a day. I mean, I came home one night and it was out in the yard at like midnight just mowing, and you don't even hear it. I mean, it's a little electric motor.
Yeah. That's cool.
And the randomized things, they work. They
Yeah,
just,
it works.
They work.
They
They
don't
did the
leave
whole
line.
thing.
You let it go every day or every other day, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Hmm.
I saw one of the comparisons to the laser mapping, compared it to one of the random guys, and there was no difference. In fact, it was a little less effective than the random guy. The random guy took longer, but it was cheaper and it worked.
Yeah, I've seen comparisons between a random pattern and random usually wins out, because eventually it's going to hit every corner of wherever you need it to go. It may not do it the first day, it may not do it the second day, but it's going to do it the third day.
I'm just so pleased that they're hitting the fur thing, because that's a big hair thing, big deal.
Those cats constantly shed.
Yep. And certain long-haired people shed too. And you get some of those in there, and you can tell that it's found one. It'll go like this far, and it'll stop, and then it'll turn, and it'll go that far in the other direction, and it'll stop and turn. That's because it reached the end of the hair and stopped. Okay. So what you do is you have to roll it past that distance. Take the wheels and roll it past that distance. It'll be fine.
Could the smarts ever come out of like the smartphone? You know, I mean, could the intelligence ever get there to where that would learn the room or be the, you know, and then
Well,
and then
these
direct
learn
it?
the rooms now. The
Yeah.
IQ,
Yeah.
you can tell it which room to go to. It has the software to do that. But it, you know, with a randomizer, you can do the same thing. It's nice that they're doing that. It probably uses a little less battery power, but you know, you're talking about something that costs $150 versus something that costs
Yeah.
$1,000, like the
Mhm.
i9. It costs $1,000. Okay, And guess which one I'm gonna buy?
Well, the Roombas, have always, they've got little lighthouses that you set in various rooms or next to doors, and some of them are smart enough to know when they've finished one room, they'll switch, the robot itself will switch the lighthouse off and go into the next room, turning the lighthouse back on as it passes through. That way it won't go back into the other room.
Really?
Yeah,
Why doesn't it just ignore it for a moment?
because I don't know. It actually has a radio in it that tells it to switch those lighthouses off. Some of the lighthouses are intelligent and some of the lighthouses are stupid.
Yeah, okay, now see, this is a problem. You've got a robot, here's your limit, and it can turn the limit off. No. It must have a big off switch.
This one will do 3 rooms. The other one I used it downstairs today. And what I usually do is I stick a chair in the hallway to block the hallway and let it do the kitchen and the eating area, because that gets more use.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll trap it in there for an hour or so. But if I leave it open, it'll do everything. And I don't know, it's amazing. It'll do all 3 rooms that I require in the hallway. All of them that it has access to, it will do. And it'll do consistently, do all of them, and do all of them thoroughly.
The lighthouses were sometimes some people would use them to keep it from going near something that they didn't want it to go near.
Like the steps.
Like, well, no, they had sensors on the bottom of them to keep them from falling.
And that's
but
these have sensors on the bottom to avoid the steps, but they don't work well. This one has bounced down the stairs a couple of times.
the
Yep.
like I don't know, maybe somewhere that's got a lot of water or something, you don't want it there. But they also made the lighthouses so that the scheduler could know do this room and then do this room, and the lighthouses had like numbers on them, so you could tell it to do lighthouse 1, lighthouse 2, and it would shut them off so it could go into the next area when it was ready. And then, the Nitos that have the LiDAR on them, they used a magnetic sensor strip, so you would lay magnets down to keep it from going into other rooms.
No, that wouldn't work by the metal lathe.
Right.
It's all fuzzy.
Still kind of interesting that they were using magnetic strips.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they may have had drop sensors on them too, but the manual for that recommended putting a magnetic strip at the top of your stairs. So it would hit the magnetic strip and then it wouldn't go down the stairs. So, very interesting things, but none of them were overly smart. They were just...
This one still, you see the older robots, the iRobots, they must lose their vision. This one will come up something close to it and stop before it gets there, totally there, and the brush will clean there, but it'll stop before it gets there. But when they get older, they seem to not work so well anymore. They'll end up bumping the wall.
You got to clean the sensors.
What's the i9? Is that a vacuum?
The Ion?
i9.
i9.
i7.
Oh, the i9?
That's $1,000.
That's equivalent to, it's a self-emptying iRobot.
Okay.
And it's
made by a different company.
made by iRobot. Yeah, they're the premium brand, iRobot.
That's a Shark.
Isn't it? It's a
half the
competitor to the
price.
Shark. It's double the price of the Shark.
Oh, okay.
iRobot was the first company to have robotic vacuum cleaners. Now everybody has them. It actually looks very, very similar to the Shark, doesn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does Consumer Report? Do you ever look at Consumer Report and
No.
see what they grade them out?
They're not
as?
going to have these as the latest ones. I doubt they even have it, actually.
Right.
They're pretty useless. I'm mad at them right now. You look for stuff like this, they won't have it. I was looking.
Consumer Reports.
Yeah.
iRobot is in their military contracts right now. They don't really care about these things right now.
Commercial, residential stuff.
They're at Walmart, and the Sharks are at Walmart too. The Sharks have the Ion.
Yeah.
That's the previous generation, and they have the iRobot. So they don't have the 900.
There's dozens of people making.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming out of the woodwork these days.
But the iRobot was the first. They were the first.
They reviewed the i7 compared against because it's self-emptying. The one on the left, $9.99.
Yeah.
And it was significantly inferior to the Shark IQ and the i9.
It doesn't surprise me. They're focusing on their military contracts.
Well, they get rich people to buy this stuff. I mean, if I were rich, I'd have all Apple PCs and I'd have iRobot i9s.
Not me.
Wish I had more money than I had sense. Well, that may be true too, but
You want to see my thing?
yeah, let's go.
Or do you want to go around the room some more because we never really
We
finished
never
that?
introduce ourselves.
Let's go around the room. Mike, you got anything?
I'm Mike. I'm here.
Present? You vote
I'm
present?
present.
Okay. Vicente,
What's your
you
name?
here?
I'm Tom.
This is Tom, the new guy.
Hi, Tom, the new guy.
I did recently just bought I didn't bring it though,
Oh man.
but I've got a smart guitar. So, and it just lights up the frets, basically all it does. It's called Fret Light. And then you download.
You stand near a mirror so you can see the frets light up, so you can touch
Well, no,
it.
you have to kind of look at it. Look at it. You know, I'm not a guitar player, but I'm learning. It's teaching me. I just got it. So I don't know if any of you play the guitar. But anyway, it's a learning tool, and it the frets light up, and then you just download a song or something. Plus, there's training, there's beginning lessons, and all that kind of stuff. So you just download that, and then it teaches you.
Does it have a light below each string at each fret?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's diodes in there.
Cool.
And it doesn't even show up. I was afraid of that because I had to order it online because they don't sell them at the music store. I looked there, So they're from Nevada, and I bought it right from the factory. That's the best place to buy them too, by the way. They're only $299.
Really?
Yeah.
It's out of my price range.
Yeah, but a decent guitar is.
Yeah, I know.
Now you have to pay for the
200.
lessons,
Yeah.
I'm not an expert
Yeah,
on
that's
the
where they're
lessons
gonna
yet,
get you.
but they say, like you get the bigger computer and then you can download more software.
Mhm.
But I'm not to that point. I don't need that yet. But you can get a lot of lessons right off your phone.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
iPhone. But yeah, it's pretty much fun. It lights them up, and then you can learn your scales and learn songs and all that. But of course, it doesn't tell you the strumming part, but you have to learn that on your own. You have to learn that just watching the video. But it does help you
That'll be the next upgrade.
instead of looking at music, and I don't know how you would, you'd have to look at the music and then figure out this way. And then you can set loops. So it's kind of neat. You can set loops, like if you have trouble, and then you can slow it down too, which is pretty important. So you slow it down, and then you can learn it, and then you speed it up, and then eventually you just speed it up, and then slow it down, and then you can loop it. Like if you have a problem area, you just loop it, and it just goes over and over and over. So it's a pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool learning tool.
Yeah, that sounds neat. I never heard of it. Who makes it?
It's
again?
called Fret Light.
Yeah.
Fret Light.
And now, is
And
this
they really
$300
don't
on your
advertise them.
guitar, or
What's that?
is it $300 added to your guitar, or is it that you get a guitar for $300?
I get the whole thing for $299.
Huh. That's surprising.
But you have to go to Fret Light
Yeah.
and go to the manufacturer. Now Amazon, there's guys that resell them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be a lot more because you're not getting it direct.
Yeah.
We
So-
could save this. Leroy could save yours for next week.
I need to see if mine works. So
So we're the guinea pigs.
you are the guinea pigs.
That's
I'm
who
Steve.
are you?
I'm Tom. Yeah.
I'm the resident Linux bigot.
Well, that's
Oh,
great.
there you go. And see, you can get acoustic, which is what I got, or you can get electric. So they
$99. Oh,
Yeah, that's something else.
FG5,
yeah.
Guitar
I don't
Center.
know.
Well, see, that's probably used.
fret light 625, 29 is $399.
I don't know. I just type stuff in. I don't know anything.
Those 200.
Fret light 400 solid
It's
body.
on sale right now or something.
And they've got one that's blemished for $80.
There you go.
Huh.
See,
Like my friend said, never buy a new guitar.
and those
No,
diodes,
it's
you
fine.
can't. I was concerned that you'd be able to see them, but you can't. So
Yeah.
when it's not lit up, it looks like a regular guitar. You can't even tell.
It'd be so cool to give one of those to somebody like Peter May. Just have him up on stage somewhere playing a light up guitar.
Yeah. Well, see, you can see how they light up. That might be another one on the right. Oh, that's those fret light. Yeah, I guess it is.
Oh yeah, you can't kind of see how they.
Now,
light
now
up.
years ago you had to plug them in, so they probably had them for a while.
Yeah.
But now they're wireless, so they go through Bluetooth. So you don't have to plug them in.
Oh, so it doesn't actually have any memory in it. Okay.
yes,
That's kind of neat.
it's all from the phone.
Check that out.
It all comes from the phone or your computer.
That tells you. That is kind of cool.
It's
I thought it
interesting
was
to me
cool.
that the lights are actually between the strings. Oh no, they're not. I'm sorry. That's the little ivory spot that
Yeah,
marks the majors.
that's kind of cool. This might be an old version of it or something.
This fretlight guitar looks like an average everyday mild
2009.
mannered electric
I
guitar.
bet it's an old
but it
version of it.
contains a rather unique hidden feature. Ordinarily, guitar fretboards, that long expanse of dark wood and metal frets on the neck of the guitar, are made of solid traditional woods. But this fretboard is made of a space-age polymer. It feels as smooth as any
It
guitar
is,
fret. The Fretlight guitar has an extra jack in the guitar's fretboard to be controlled by Fretlight's proprietary software, making it a tremendously
600.
useful tool for learning.
620.
And
I'd
this
buy
is
it
the
just to
Fretlight
listen to it
software
play.
playing a MIDI version of
Yeah,
Eric Johnson's
it's cool
Listen
just to
Go
watch it.
instrumentals. And while this is
Hang
playing
that
at
up on
full
the wall.
speed,
Just watch it
Yeah.
the
play.
software
I
can
think
be
you could.
adjusted so that it can play at any tempo.
Well, it's
Play
not
these
playing
same notes
anything
at
now.
the same
That's the
pitch,
audio from.
but at a
That's
much
the audio
slower
from your
tempo,
computer.
making
Yeah.
it much easier for the guitarist to learn where to place his fingers.
But when
to
you're
learn a
playing
song.
it, you can pretty well tell if you're hitting the same note. You know.
I know this song. Why do I know this song?
That's a lot.
Someone named Eric Johnson plays that song.
Yeah, now
I
you
know
just
that
need a
song.
robot hand to follow those lights.
I know.
Yeah.
It takes a while, but
That's-
it is amazing.
that's
You do
kinda
get
cool.
better like anything else, you know. But it takes time.
That is cool.
But it's still quicker than
Yeah,
Probably
then
any
try to
other way.
figure- Yeah.
the traditional way.
and you can take it as far as you want, as you can see. You can
Mhm.
get it. You know, this is for advanced.
Cool.
You're the only one that hasn't introduced yourself.
That's because I'm nobody. I'm
Vicente.
Leroy.
Vicente hadn't
Oh,
introduced
I
himself.
apologize.
There's Vicente.
I'm Leroy. I'm second in command of this mess. And I have a robot eventually. I don't know. Yeah, well, you know, my desk at home is tiny. It's about that big, so
The robot is too big.
yeah. Well, it's too big for my desk. It's too big for here. So I need some volunteers.
I'll volunteer.
I just need you'd like hold that
Okay.
up, and you may want to like watch. We probably. What do you think? Think that, or do you want to go further back?
Up to you. I got
So-
my center here. You can put it anywhere.
So the idea here is this robot uses the little Java camera, and it's going to search for ID marker 1. It's supposed to drive to ID marker 1. From there, it will search for marker 2. It will drive to marker 2, hopefully. Then you may have to turn marker 1 so that it can see it, because it will turn back and try to get back to marker 1. And then I may have to turn this one so that it can see it. But eventually it will end up back where it started.
Okay.
So this is
Cool.
marker 0, that's 1, and that's 2. So let's see how this goes. We're not using the servo, so the robot will spin on its own axis, and it doesn't spin real well. Yeah,
How meaningful.
okay. So it
The distance.
that is pretty
Thinking.
far.
Is it thinking?
Let it go. It's doing fine.
The back wheels aren't turning. Yeah. It's too close
It's
to
close
it.
enough. It's looking for this, right?
Yes, it's too close to it.
You are not putting the mark in the middle of the screen.
Well, did you see it try to?
Yeah, it stopped
It
3
tried-
feet from there.
It tried to duck walk to it.
Let's
too.
try the little ones. That's how it judges distance, isn't it?
Yeah, we could try the little ones. Little markers.
This would be better.
Okay.
I think it's had a brain fart.
There's a problem with one wheel.
No, it's obviously just not working. There you go.
Okay.
It works better with the smaller.
It's trying to. I don't know what.
You can see it.
Yeah.
I'm-
Going around. instead
Where's
of
it
going
looking?
forward.
Where's the eyeball? Did you see where? I was looking at this side.
That's a little close.
Stop!
I stopped right on that.
Stop!
It stopped on the dime once it saw
Okay,
it.
it's not working.
Okay.
I declare this is not working.
Years and years and years and years ago, I remember watching a horror film. This was one of the it runs weekly sort of
This is
thing,
More horrible.
and it was this wooden horse, a toy horse. There had been a pair of them, and they were possessed or something. I don't know, but they wanted to kill everybody until they were together, so they buried it in a box with a mirror. It did that. As soon as it saw the mirror, it stopped.
What you did.
I broke it. I mean, I made it worse.
What's this?
What's what?
The wires sticking out here? Is that your switch for the?
No, I soldered those two things together. I actually had at one point I actually had a thing over top of it.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking maybe you had a switch in that to turn it on and off.
No. But my little cover for it fell off, so I just said to heck with that. I think you're right. I think I'm gonna have to put this whole contraption onto a smaller thing and where I can
Put
actually
that on the
And use
schedule for
low
next.
speed.
do what?
I will use less speed for experimenting. Because you need to figure out
If I
slowly what's going on.
slow this one down,
I know.
it doesn't move at all. So
We talk about it.
So this one's got a camera on it and it's doing image recognition. Show Tom the camera.
this is this little black thing there.
It has
the
a-
camera with the microcontroller.
Yeah,
It
there's
has
a
a
microcontroller.
microcontroller and it's doing AI.
Four
It's
cores, right?
Do I?
4 cores, 1.2
4 cores, yeah.
giga.
Yeah, it's a decent little
So
microcontroller. It's running Linux.
He has a fan because
It's got a little fan on.
yes, because
It'll get hot.
I hope
This
it
is
does.
artificial intelligence type thing.
No, not yet.
Not really.
It's just
It's machine learning. It has a object identification
It's
thing. No,
each one of these markers has a number associated with it. So this is number 0. So I'm telling it to look for certain markers.
they are designed to codify a number, and doesn't matter the position will be always the same number.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why this string's shape.
And it's that little module on the top with the fan is the actual controller,
Yep.
and it's running Linux.
Yep.
And it cost less than $15,
It's $60.
$60. Okay.
And it reports back that it sees
59
Yeah, 59.
plus ship.
I got it for free shipping. I got mine
How?
with free because I bought it on eBay, but I had to pay tax.
You don't pay shipping.
I didn't pay for shipping. It was $59 plus $4 in tax. It was $63 all total and free shipping.
so what's the communication? I2C?
Just standard serial.
Really?
Yep.
Then it reports back, I see Aruka number 7.
It's
This.
data string.
It's like frames of data, like a GPS.
Okay.
A rook ID, the corners or the center in the normalized screen.
Okay.
The screen normalized screen is 2000 by 2000 points,
Really?
but the
Pretty high
camera only has 48 or something. But it's a normalization of the,
Okay.
of the position. Doesn't matter the real resolution. He map the.
How does it get distance? I mean, because again, if you
Well,
put on,
it
use
depends
a
on the
smaller.
size of this.
Okay. So do you have to tell it ahead?
with this size, you can work 12 feet
You-
easily.
Do you have to let it know how big the symbols are?
No, because he estimated the corners and send you the position of the corners.
Right.
You
But
know,
if-
you know the
if
size.
If I print it 5 feet by 5 feet, it's going to go, wow, I'm really close to it.
No, you need to calibrate this.
Okay.
You need to tell. You need to know what size is your sign, the real size.
Okay.
Because you know it happened when you say it.
This is your standard message.
That's why Leroy asked us to change the big sign for the small, to simulate that we are farther.
Farther away. Sure. It's doing the 2D messages right now, so it's getting the ID number, which is 0, 1, 2. Then it's getting the X and Y, that's the angle of it. And the width and height. And in the software on the Arduino, you can tell it to do different things with the width or the height. But it's obviously not working. It's not working the way I think it's working. I broke it. I made it worse. You did see it though when it tried to go over to number 2, it did that little duck walk thing, and it got as close as it's supposed
first
to.
of all, you have two problems. Immediately you have the Aruco marked inside your area of view.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately you assume that you found it, and you start going straight to it. But
Right.
you need to put
Center
it in
it.
the center of your screen. You know. You immediately you see the ID of the Aruco. You say, okay, I found it, and you go straight, but it is in one side of the screen. You need to make sure that the X position is in the 0 value. Remember, it's plus 1,000 minus 1,000. These are
Yeah.
the possible values of the X position
Yeah.
of the Aruco mark. You need to check that the Aruco mark is in the 0 plus minus 50 or something for a gray area.
That's what I thought it was doing. I don't think it's doing what I thought it was
So
doing.
you are still using the PID of the sketch, the PID for that. You can start your
yeah.
removing the PID and doing it by yourself.
Okay.
It will be more steepy or more.
Yeah, it's pretty.
nervous,
It's pretty jittery right now.
But remove the PID function
Okay.
and just ask for the position and move until you have a value that's close to 0. You move and check for the X value. If it's bigger than 0, you move in one direction. If it's under 0, you move in the other direction until you have a value close to 0. And stop and go straight in
Okay.
without the PID.
Okay.
The PID is to make it more smooth, more.
Yeah, it's
But-
definitely not
But
smooth.
it's blowing your coding because you don't know what's going on there.
I still don't know what's going on.
Don't use it now.
How many frames per second does that thing read?
Lot.
30? I mean, it's saying that every frame, if there's an Aruco for it to see, it sends that text message,
Uh-huh.
But,
which comes out
in
at
this
at least
resolution,
30.
The resolution, there are 30 screens by second,
Okay.
and the messages depend on the number of Arucos in the screen. You can have 4,
Yeah.
and you will have 4 lines 30 times per second, 4 lines of information. You know?
So your serial has to be humming along pretty fast.
Yes, it's fast.
Okay.
It's a computer.
I didn't realize
It's-
it
this
was
is-
that chatty.
It's like
Yeah.
10 times faster than a Raspberry Pi 3.
Really?
Yeah. It's a little teeny tiny. It's a little teeny tiny demon.
It's a microprocessor dedicated completely to
All it's doing is, it's running like a very, 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 very slimmed down version of Linux, but just dedicated to do nothing but image processing. It's not running any other software. It's just doing image processing. That's it. And whatever it needs for
It's
handling
using
the serial.
OpenCV, the libraries. And
Yeah.
The library of the Aruco identification only send the number and the corners, and there are scripts in the Jaguar thing that you can change.
I didn't bring the.
And you use those values to produce whatever you want. You can estimate the angle, the rotation of the Aruco,
Mhm.
the distance.
Next-
You know the size, the real size.
Next week, maybe next week I'll remember I can bring the other camera that I've got, and we can run the software on the computer,
On the
and
computer.
you can see what it's actually doing.
In this way, you see what it's seeing. You know,
Yeah.
you see, and
It'd be easier
the
to do
computer
that
have
with a tail
draws
dragger, wouldn't it?
yellow
Probably.
squares in the Aruco position.
You remember about a year ago, this is the one that I built, and it was following the markers around, but at the time it was using the servos to get its angle, and and everything. We're trying to eliminate the servos
To use all the robot to look for the.
to use the robot to actually do it.
It'd be very cool if you could coordinate the wheels and the servo. Have it look around and then
Yeah,
bring the body
yeah.
underneath
Well,
the
that's
camera.
that's what it does. The original, about a year ago, I did this, and it was this project here to. I thought there was sound to this thing.
They sell the UI in 8 colors or something, like candies.
There we go. So he's just holding one of these markers, and it's following him around.
That's a mover.
And that works. But I'm trying to do something beyond this. I'm trying to do something else.
The servo is following the map.
Yep. You see how the servo's in there?
Up, down.
That was
I just can't imagine it without the knife.
Servo movie.
I want to see the guy fall over backwards. No.
that project is what I duplicated like a year ago, and now I'm just trying to. But Vicente's probably right. I probably just need to build another robot that actually more simulates what I'm trying to do, instead of trying to use this thing.
The idea is to put
And since
this-
I have another camera, it would be easy enough to do.
I would probably switch out to stepper motors for the drive. Then you can do any speed you want. Just 2 of them and drag the tail around.
Yeah.
Do they have the stepper motor drive motors available cheap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of 5 1/4 inch floppy drive motors.
Remember, we're paying like $5 for a pair of stepper of drives.
Yeah.
That's a pair
I
of
think
motors.
you can get the crappy ones that they use for floppy drives
Let me have
pretty
my
cheaply.
let me have my
We need
markers
the
up.
wheel. The wheels is what I'm.
The wheels are the
motors
problem.
and the wheels. Yeah, the
Yeah.
stepper motor wheels.
Yeah.
Cheap.
What's the shaft diameter on that?
I don't know. Just standard.
Yeah. Because I think
hobby size.
stepper motor, the 17 series steppers are usually 8 millimeter or 1/4 inch.
Those wheels won't fit on
Yeah. Okay.
without some sort of adapter or
the diameter
something.
of the-
Just reminded me something else cool that I see on YouTube, and I didn't buy one, but have you heard of a one wheel?
Yeah, little scooter
Scooter
Oh,
deal.
unicycle thing.
They are something else. You should see those on YouTube. It's
There's a guy I saw
They are
riding
fun.
one.
I see them down in. Go ahead.
A fellow rides one down Erie every day.
Yeah.
They are something else.
He
boy.
hums past the police department at
I seen someone
18
down in
miles an
Florida,
hour or
some
something.
gal down in Florida, and she was just jumping over curbs and going through the sand
Mhm.
and the grass. It takes a lot of balance.
Oh. Just because
the 2C.
she's programming it. She thinks she's programming it. The
She
4-year-old
hasn't noticed
man.
that cord yet?
She hasn't noticed that it's not on yet, but she's sitting there. She said, "Papa, look at me. I'm typing." The 4-year-old grandkid. She's doing a pretty good job of it.
Power the thing on for her. I mean, she can't damage it. I mean,
No, not really.
power isn't going to make any difference to the damage anyway.
Well, as long as she doesn't go.
When Sandy and I first got married, she wanted a Mac because she knew I wouldn't touch it. And she had a program called Baby Smash. And every time you hit any key on the keyboard, it would make some shape on the screen or some sound. It was pretty nice.
So
The idea is to put this camera in this world.
this
In the big
this
one.
this was the test platform to move the camera over to this thing, which Tom hasn't seen, but I think everybody else has seen this thing at some point.
Is that when you were up in Greene County?
I don't know. This is when we had it delivering us pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza delivery.
Delivered us pizza. Thank you for the pizza, robot.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was just a small scale to try to work out bugs before I moved it over to the thing. So I'm still working out.
Are you going to keep the servos when you put it on that so it can track better?
No, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to eliminate the servos altogether, because Mark does not want the servos.
Mm.
I think it would be easier to do with.
I'm curious about the timeout box there. Did she do something wrong? Sit in the box.
Oh
And
no,
in the middle.
that's her house. She,
Yeah.
Oh, that's your house.
Yeah.
Kids and cats.
She loves boxes. Told Patty, I said, we go to buy her something for her birthday or for
Mhm.
Christmas. She plays with the box. I said, we ought to just go down to the box store and buy her a big box,
Yeah.
a refrigerator box. She'd love it. This is the one I was looking for. This was our first test of it many moons ago. For anybody who really hasn't seen our progress.
I have a cheap GPS unit you're welcome to. It's USB.
I have like 50
Okay.
GPSs and I'm getting ready to shoot every last stinking one. I hate GPS now. GPS and me are not friends anymore. I used to like GPS. GPS gave me hate and frustration, and now I hate GPS. Anyway, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. So you're probably right. I probably just need to stick it onto one of those old round 2-wheel things, and it would actually kind of look like
The
that.
Pololu.
Be much simpler to drive and diagnose problems. I mean, they're pretty brain dead. I got one, so pretty brain dead.
What's the name of the platform from Pololu?
Rami?
Romy.
Rami.
Romy. Or Mayo, I don't know. They still in
That thing right there.
This is
Only ours are red, not blue.
the price is not.
Our price is a lot cheaper.
Yeah. And they include the board.
Yeah.
Does that have encoders?
I have encoders that I could stick on it. Yeah.
You can use encoders.
Encoders, you know, we need bulletproof encoders. Encoders get in the way and get knocked out of the way and get stuff in the way. We need a bulletproof encoders thing for cheap.
The encoders I've got for that, those things just work. They,
Or like Steve or whoever said, you know, hey, they make one of those with stepper motors. That would really be cool.
The
This-
encoders of this robot is a tiny.
It's a tiny
PCB
magnet, yeah.
with 3 holes, and you put you solder the encoder here in the board.
Right there, yeah.
You put a magnet, rubber magnet in the center, and it has a couple of Hall effect sensors. It's
I
a tiny
realize-
thing, but works pretty good.
Okay.
And
It is realized that you're one removed from the actual motion, the wheel itself.
Mm-hmm.
Having it on the wheel is, but you know that's good as long as it sounds like it's reliable.
how
It's the encoder for that.
Yeah.
It's
Cheap?
300.
360 pulses.
One rotation is 360.
Ooh, that's
Pulses.
So it's exactly
Yeah.
it's exactly the size of the wheel.
cheap.
$12
The copper
each for 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
I bought many by $3 or $2 something.
Yeah, when MCM went out of
When they
business, I
closed.
bought a bunch of them for $2 or $3.
So they have a controller board for this. Does this include the controller board?
No,
Oh, okay.
this
buy
is
the
this is
part
what you
also.
get for $30, unless you know our secret. We have a secret. We have a super secret.
Secret size place or Romy.
Oh, that shoes look good
No,
for
Romy
$350.
chassis is this is those are the boards.
Those are. He's not going to show up. Our super secret's not going to show up. No.
Use Romy chassis.
Yeah. I don't think he calls it a robot, does he? He calls it a chassis. There's a guy on here. I don't know how many of these things he's got. I have bought probably 10.
There, the first one. It include the boards.
I've probably
and
have bought 10 of these things already.
Very, very low
But
cost.
you gotta pay the shipping.
Just for one. He'll ship it. I bought like 10 of them at one time, and 10 or 15 of them, and
He's selling
got 'em for
very-
$10 a piece.
Very, very low cost.
$10 a piece. But you get like the switches and line tracer,
Power distribution
the
board,
power distribution board, all the hardware.
motors.
You get the motors. You don't get the encoders. That's what he's missing. I wish he had the encoders. But if you want a bunch of them at one time, offer him like $10 a piece for them, and he'll
Is
take
it a Uno?
Do I?
Is a controller a Uno?
It doesn't
No,
matter.
it doesn't have control.
doesn't have
Doesn't
a
have a
controller.
controller. Oh, okay. It has a driver board. No driver board.
Yeah, the drivers are in the board.
Okay.
In the power.
Yep, this board right here has motor drivers on it.
Okay.
If you want to use them, you don't have to. You don't even have to use that board. I mean, it's
So the things sitting on top of the rims, are those the tires,
the
or
good
yeah,
thing
are
is
those
that-
O-rings
that
for the drive?
There is a battery
stretch out over the
battery
rim.
holder here,
yep, battery holder.
and the metal parts
They're
are
right
soldered
here.
directly to the board.
Yep.
You know,
Or you don't have to solder them to that
Battery
board.
contact.
through
Yeah.
the plastic you solder it in the board, and you have all the power system working.
Well, my laser rabbit still works, so heck, it's already put together. The bitty rover.
Yeah. So, no. It's not showing it. It could take forever to find them. That's one of them that I've put together.
The Texas Instrument
Texas
has
Instruments, yeah.
a robot kit for embedded system learning in the college. But it costs like $300 or something. But it includes this Romy chassis.
I'm not gonna find the one that I want, the picture I want. I've got one of those chassis that I've just got a ESP8266 attached to. I'm not using a motor driver or anything. I'm just driving the motors. It's kind of cool because that chassis is pretty flexible. You can let it do whatever. But that's the secret right there. There's the secret. Don't tell anybody. Every time I've bought all of them he's always put more up too, so.
You can ask for a price reduction if you buy several.
Yeah. Alright. It's about 10 till. So what are we doing next week? Anybody know?